Don Mattingly was called the hardest worker to date by those who knew him best. Yet this American League MVP and 9-time Gold Glove winner isn't in the Baseball Hall of Fame. How does a player who dominated baseball for 6 straight years, became the face of the New York Yankees, and earned legendary status end up on the outside looking in? The answer lies in a career-altering back injury that split his story into 2 distinct chapters. But to truly understand Don Mattingly, you can't start with the end. You have to go back to the beginning, to an Indiana backyard where an unmatched work ethic forged the legend known as Donnie Baseball. Don Mattingly's journey began far from Yankee Stadium's bright lights in Evansville, Indiana, where he was born on April 20th, 1961. As the youngest of 5 children, he grew up in a household where hard work wasn't optional. His father, Bill, a mailman, made sure a strong work ethic was a fundamental family value that shaped every aspect of young Don's life. This blue-collar foundation would become the cornerstone of everything he achieved in baseball. At Wrights Memorial High School, Mattingly was a multi-sport star who excelled at everything he touched. He quarterbacked the football team with precision and played point guard for the basketball squad with intelligence. But baseball was his true calling. He spent countless hours on a backyard wiffle ball field, perfecting his swing by learning to hit around a tree on the first base side of the family garage. This simple setup taught him to drive the ball to the opposite field, a skill that would serve him throughout his professional career and become one of his most recognizable traits. What separated Mattingly from other talented high school athletes was his almost obsessive commitment to improvement. His high school coach, Quentin Merkel, described him as the hardest worker he ever coached and noted that Mattingly was so driven that he would spend up to 3 hours every single day in the batting cage, long after his teammates had gone home. While other players were hanging out or relaxing, Mattingly was grinding, constantly seeking ways to get better. This relentless dedication produced incredible results that spoke for themselves. Mattingly led Wrights Memorial High School's Tigers to a state record 59 consecutive victories through the 1978-79 season and captured a state championship in 1978. His individual numbers were equally impressive and still stand as testament to his high school dominance. He holds school records for hits with 152, doubles with 29, triples with 25, runs batted in with 140, and runs scored with 99. These weren't just good numbers for a high school player, they were exceptional by any standard. However, this drive came with a psychological cost that would follow him throughout his career. Mattingly's own reflections later revealed a complex relationship with his work ethic. He once said, "If you don't second-guess yourself, then you are not trying to get better," showing how he constantly criticized himself and felt relentless pressure to improve. This contrasted sharply with his later statement that, "Baseball's still a game. I don't want it to be work," suggesting he sometimes lost the pure joy that initially drew him to baseball. Despite his obvious talent and status as one of the nation's top high school prospects, Mattingly's path to professional baseball hit an unexpected roadblock. In the 1979 MLB draft, concerns about his lack of elite speed and the widespread belief that he would honor his baseball scholarship commitment to Indiana State University caused many teams to pass on him entirely. The Yankees took a calculated chance, selecting him in the 19th round as the 493rd overall pick and offering him a $23,000 signing bonus. Mattingly made a pivotal decision to skip college and immediately proved his worth in professional baseball. His legendary work ethic translated perfectly to the minor league environment. He experienced instant success, batting a league-leading .358 for the Greensboro Hornets in 1980 and winning the league MVP award in his first full professional season. He consistently hit over .300 at every minor league level, never dropping below .340 in his first season, and proving that his high school success wasn't a fluke. He ultimately batted .315 in AAA while being named to the postseason All-Star team, showing he was ready for the major leagues. Mattingly made his MLB debut on September 8, 1982, and became the Yankees' full-time first baseman in 1984. What followed was a 6-year period of statistical dominance that established him as one of baseball's absolute best players. In 1984, he won the American League batting title with a .343 average, led the league with 207 hits, and finished 5th in MVP voting, announcing his arrival as a superstar. The next year, 1985, represented the absolute peak of his career. Mattingly was named American League Most Valuable Player after leading the league with 145 RBIs, the most by a left-handed batter since the great Ted Williams accomplished the feat in 1949. His combination of power, average, and remarkable consistency made him the game's most feared and respected hitter. His sustained dominance continued in 1986 when he led all of Major League Baseball in hits with 238, doubles with 53, and slugging percentage at .573, while batting a career-high 352. This extraordinary performance earned him second place in MVP voting behind pitcher Roger Clemens, proving that his 1985 MVP season wasn't a one-year wonder, but part of sustained excellence that few players in history have matched. Mattingly wasn't just an offensive force who could hit for average and power. He was also an elite defender who won 9 Gold Glove awards, establishing an American League record for a first baseman that still stands today. His career fielding percentage of .99959 ranks among the best in baseball history at any position, showing his commitment to excellence extended to every aspect of his game. In 1987, he tied a Major League record by hitting home runs in 8 consecutive games and set a new record with 6 grand slams in a single season, demonstrating his ability to perform in clutch situations. Beyond individual statistics and awards, Mattingly's importance to the Yankees organization ran much deeper than numbers on a scoreboard. He was named team captain in 1991, a position he held until retirement, and an honor that recognized his professionalism and leadership during a rare period of struggle for the franchise. This captaincy meant everything because it came during challenging times. Unlike most Yankees legends who played during championship eras, Mattingly competed during a unique period when the team wasn't a playoff dynasty. He was drafted after their 1978 World Series victory and didn't reach the postseason until 1995, his final season. This circumstance actually enhanced rather than diminished his legendary status among fans and teammates. As the lone superstar on underachieving teams, he became the face of the franchise and a symbol of hope and consistency for increasingly frustrated fans. His leadership and professionalism during these difficult years earned him reverence typically reserved for Hall of Famers and ultimately led to his enshrinement in Monument Park, one of the highest honors the Yankees organization can bestow. However, Mattingly's career trajectory changed dramatically due to a chronic back injury that began surfacing around 1987. For years, persistent rumors suggested the injury resulted from clubhouse horseplay with a teammate, but Mattingly consistently denied this claim. He clarified that his back problem was actually a congenital defect that he had managed throughout his entire life, which was progressively worsened by the intense physical demands of playing elite professional baseball. Mattingly described the condition as a pounding soreness that affected his daily life, but he preferred keeping the struggle completely private, stating firmly, "I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want any sympathy from people." This attitude reflected his character. He wanted to be judged on performance, not on excuses or limitations. The injury's devastating impact became undeniably severe in 1990, limiting him to just 102 games and causing a dramatic drop in his power production that shocked Yankees fans. The statistical decline was absolutely stark and heartbreaking to witness. During his peak years from 1984 to 1989, Mattingly averaged 27 home runs and 114 RBIs per season with a 327 batting average. From 1990 to 1995, those numbers plummeted to an average of just 10 home runs and 64 RBIs with a 286 batting average. The player who once dominated baseball was now performing at barely above average levels. For decades, the prevailing narrative suggested Mattingly's career was cut short solely by this unmanageable back injury that robbed him of his prime years. However, his own candid statements offer a more complete and nuanced picture of his retirement decision. He publicly revealed that his back injury was actually absolutely manageable and that he retired primarily because he wanted to spend more time with his family. Mattingly confessed that his heart wasn't in the game anymore and that his thoughts while traveling were constantly of wanting to be home with his wife and children in Indiana. The injury hadn't simply ended his career, but fundamentally changed his entire relationship with baseball. It prevented him from being the player he once was, and this decline made his family-driven decision to retire much easier to accept. When weighing the choice between continuing his career for potential accolades and spending precious time with his growing family, he later described the decision as not even close. The physical adversity served as a catalyst for deep personal reevaluation, allowing him to transition from a professional identity built entirely on athletic supremacy to a personal one focused on family dedication and values his father had instilled. Don Mattingly's legacy transcends Hall of Fame statistics or postseason success. His enduring nickname, Donnie Baseball, and his honored place in Monument Park recognize much more than just impressive numbers. They celebrate his status as the ultimate professional and an enduring symbol of unwavering integrity and leadership that inspired teammates and fans alike. His remarkable story teaches that some legacies aren't measured by accumulated statistics, but by the weight of character and the example set for others. Mattingly's narrative shows how pure talent combined with unmatched drive was tested by physical adversity, forcing adaptation and the discovery of new purpose beyond baseball. The fact that he remains a celebrated figure, despite a shortened career and lack of championship rings, speaks to something much deeper than mere baseball achievement. Mattingly chose to prioritize his personal life over potential accolades, a decision that actually enhanced rather than diminished his reputation among those who knew him best. His legacy isn't a tragedy of unfulfilled potential, but a singular identity forged through both triumph and struggle, proving that sometimes the most powerful and lasting stories come from how we handle adversity rather than how we avoid it.